सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। We saw the 381st shloka yesterday. Vyakhyanakara says here in the introduction to 382nd shloka, Vruttau akhandatvam sputayati etamiti. Because in the earlier shloka it was mentioned that this Guru told the Shishya through akhandakara vritti bhavaya. He had said anubhavaya. Through akhandakara vritti atmataya anubhavaya. Remain as the self. There is no anubhava of atma. Just like we say jnanena mokshaha, jnana is nothing but anubhava there. So there is no separate anubhava of atma, because atma is the subject. It is that which objectifies everything, and by itself it cannot be objectified. Therefore it is atmataya, like itham bhute tritiya, being in that manner, itham bhute tritiya, or even the way we say in the form of atma, meaning not becoming something else, remaining what you are without becoming something else. How will that happen? Through akhandakara vritti. The khanda vritti, the segmentation that happens in the triad, in the form of a triad, where there are three types of vrittis. One is the karta, or the subject. The other is the karma, or the object, and there is a kriya in between. So all these three types of vrittis are the segmented vrittis which divide as though divide the individual. However, through akhandakara vritti, just give me a moment please. Sorry. So through akhandakara vritti, where there is no segmentation, there is no visheshana to limit the brahmatma, there is nothing which limits it, neither as a subject nor as an object, and actually not even a witness, because there is nothing to be witnessed. When the bhagatyaga lakshana is used on the mahavakya, then there are no two entities. When the equation is solved, as though an equation it is solved, then the left side and the right side are the same. The upadhis are removed. So what remains is the Shuddha Atma without any Visheshana, without any qualification. That is the Akhandakara Vritti there, which resolves, and then what remains is Brahma Rupa Atma. Therefore, Vrittau Akhandatvam Kim? What is this Akhandatvam in a Vritti? That Bhagavad Padacharya clarifies in the next shloka, Etamiti. Etam achinnaya vrittya pratyantara shunyaya ullekhayan vijaniyat swaswarupataya sputam. Etam achinnaya vrittya. That akhandakara vritti is achinna vritti, where there is no segmentation. That kind of a vritti it is. Therefore, achinnaya vrittya pratyantara shunyaya ullekhayan vijaniyat. One should know swaswarupataya. Again, what was said as atmataya earlier has been shown here as swaswarupataya. Sputam, clearly it should be known. So there is no separate. Anubhava is also clarified. Anubhavaya was said, now it is said as vijaniya, one should know. And ullekhan is what? Vishayi kurvan. It is mentioned here, we will see in the tika further. So etam achinnaya vrittya, and achinnaya vrittya, not only a segmented vritti, but that vritti should be about Brahma, Brahmatma. It should not be about some other. You can have a ghatakara vritti also, which is akhandakara vritti. So akhandakara vritti, where the subject matter is Atma, not something else. If there is an akhandakara vritti of ghata, where the visheshanas are not known, then that ghatakara vritti will not lead to moksha. What will lead to moksha is brahmakara vritti. Therefore achinnaya brahmakara vrittya and pratyantara shunya, where it is not replaced by any other vritti, any other pratyaya, any other thought, to be focused on Brahmatma. And thereby what happens later in sequence is what is called as samadhi later. So swaswarupataya ullekhayan vijanyas, sputam vijanyas, clearly one should know one's own swarupa. That is what is said here, and that is the akhandatvam in vritti. Pratyantara shunyataya vijatiya pratyatiraskritya atiraskritya. So you it says pratyantara shunya. Just let me cross check. Looks like a typo here. I think it should be vijatiya pratyaya tiraskritya kritya. So here it says there is an akara there. I think that's a typo there. It should have been vijatiya pratyaya tiraskritaya. So pratyantara shunyataya vijatiya pratyaya tiraskritaya avichinnataya nirmalavarti taila deepa jwalavat. So what is that dharana? When does this dharana become dhyana? When that dharana is taila dharavat. When you pour water, it splatters, but then when you pour oil, it is a single stream, and that kind of a single stream of thought on a particular vishaya leads to dhyana and then samadhi. So pratyantara shunyataya vijatiya pratyaya tiraskritaya, all the various thoughts should be dropped and there should be only a singular vritti there of this mahavakya, and avichinnataya, without being segmented, nirmalavarti taila deepa jwalavat. That is the meaning there. Like the example of taila dhara is not mentioned. What is mentioned is the deepa. Although the flame which is burning there in a lamp, that flame is not really continuous, but it appears to be continuous. There is a series of oil droplets which are burnt, and each oil droplet is leading to that lamp fire, and continuously being so, like a vritti, one after another, when there is a continuous series of similar vrittis, just like the droplets of oil are being burnt continuously and it appears as a single flame, it becomes a single flame. Similarly here, this would be a single stream of pratyayas, akhandakara vritti, which will without any anything interleaving there, no other thought interleaving, will be like this nirmalavarti taila deepa jwalavat, and further explain as taila dharavat, which is what I mentioned earlier, that taila dharavat is what the dhyana dharana is talked about in Yoga Shastra. So taila dharavat dharaya vahantya vrittya. Vritti should be continuous like the stream of oil. Etam atmanam, what should we know? Etam atmanam, this very atma, which is the most proximate to you, pratyagatma, most proximate to you, meaning it is your own swarupa. proximity is not by separation, but proximity is said that there cannot be anything further proximate to you because it is you. So etam atmano ullekhen means vishay kurvan, making that as a subject matter, swaswarupataya sputam vijaniyat, know that atma which you are trying to objectify as your own self. It is really the subject matter, it is the very content, very essence of the subject, which can never be objectified. Even when you are trying to objectify, what happens is that what you are objectifying is only a vritti. What you are cannot be objectified. Therefore sputam vijaniyat, clearly know through the vritti. That vritti will resolve. Even that, just like you cannot have anubhava, you cannot have jnana of atma as an object. You cannot make it an object, yourself an object of the jna dhatu. You cannot do it. Therefore whether it is atma anubhava or atma jnana, it is never as an object. It is after the vritti, through the vritti, and after the vritti resolves, what you remain. And you can know in the antakarana, which is an instrument, in the buddhi, as a tool you can know, and therefore through jnana moksha is possible. In continuation, the next shloka reads, atratmatvam dhrudīkurvan ahamadishu santyajan udasinataya teshu tishted ghatapatadivat. So if we just read this shloka as it is, then it looks like ghatapatadivat tishted. One should remain like ghatapata, like jada vastu. It is not really so. In the Anvaya, you have to say ghatapatadivat udasinataya tishtet. One should remain the way one is completely unconcerned about the ghatapata. You don't take the ghatapata as your own self. You don't take the table in front of you as your own self, although it is also part of jagat. The way you have carved out your own sharira from this jagat, you don't consider the table as yourself. Why would you consider the jada sharira as yourself? Thereby there should be udasina bhava. You should be neutral to it, not concerned as to taking care of it as your own and as yourself. You should drop that tadatmya sambandha. So ahamadishu atmatattvam santyajan, giving up the atma bhava that we have with ahankara onwards, vijnanamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, pranamaya kosha and annamaya kosha. That is the sharira. The bulk of sharira is, the conglomerate of sharira is considered as oneself. So due to what reason? Because there is atmatvam, meaning atma bhava. But ahamadishu atmatvam santyajan, atra meaning in your own real swarupa, atmatvam dhrudīkurvan. You don't need to really have atma bhava in atma. You have to drop the atma bhava in anatma, which itself is staying in this atma. Because once you withdraw, what remains is you. There is no need to have atma bhava further, but as long as the vritti is going on, there in the vritti you should have atma bhava. As long as the vritti is there, you have atma bhava in the vritti by giving up the anatma bhava. So you withdraw and withdraw from outward the activity or the outward pravrutti and go inward. This is the meaning here. Atra atmatvam dhrudīkurvan, making it firm. Continuous effort will make it firm. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. So abhyasa and vairagyena cha grihyate, it will definitely be attained. Attainment being figurative through two-pronged approach, which we have been seeing since the past 100 odd shlokas maybe, that it will always be a twofold approach. You cannot balance on just the one. You can't stand continuously on one leg. It may appear that okay, jnana has led to moksha, but vairagya lacking, it will not fructify. Some would say moha kshaya moksha, so vairagya is there, but jnana is not there. That won't work either. Therefore, both should be there. Abhyasena cha kaunte vairagyena cha grihyate. That abhyasa is jnana abhyasa. Here, atmatvam dridikuruvan. And then, ghatapatadivat teshu ahamadishu. That ahankara, starting from ahankara and ending with the outermost kosha, one has to give up the atma bhava, and then how do you continuously look at it as anatma, just like you look at ghatapata. These, whatever you objectify cannot be you. With that thought that I see the pot, I see the cloth, I see the table, I see this entire prapancha as not my own sharira, as not me, how can this sharira that I objectify be me? It cannot be. So drigdrishya viveka, drishyatvat mithya. Because you objectify it, it cannot be you. And you yourself cannot be objectified. So whatever you think about, whatever the analysis is, whichever philosophy you study, as long as you can objectify whatever is taught there, it is not you, including upasana. It can be any dhyana, it can be on the saguna upasana also. No saguna upasana will lead to parabrahmatva on its own. On its own it can't, because jnana is lacking. Jnana will lead to it. Even that sagunatvam that you objectify or you meditate upon is not the real swarupa of Brahma. You have to drop even that sagunatvam. Thereby, ghatapatadivat teshu ahamadishu udasinataya tishtet. Ghatapatadivat udasinataya tishtet. So you can say teshu ahamadishu घटपटादिवत् उदासीनतया तिष्ठेत्. टीका अत्र परमात्मनि आत्मत्वं स्वस्वरूपत्वं दृढीकुर्वन् निश्चिन्वन् अहमादिषु संत्यजन्. So अत्र परमात्मनि, अत्र we have seen earlier it was said as etam, that etat shabda is showing the proximal nature of atma, meaning swarupa, your own swarupa. Here also atra is paramatma, pratyagatma, paramatma, not different from paramatma. Unto that self, atmatvam swaswarupatvam dridikuruvan, making the understanding of the nature firm. Nischinvan, that is why he gives the meaning. Swaswarupan dridikuruvan means what? Your nature cannot be made firm. The nature is what it is. You cannot change it. That's how it is called as a nature. Whatever you are, which can never be changed, what you go back to is atma, is the nature. And everyone, through each and every effort, knowingly or unknowingly, is searching for ananda. That also proves, logically it proves, that what you are searching for continuously is because you find yourself uncomfortable in the situation that you are. However a person finds oneself, he is uncomfortable, he or she is uncomfortable. They are wanting to become comfortable by searching for ananda. So wanting to go back to your nature will make you comfortable. Whatever you are not cannot make you comfortable. And we all are trying to search ananda to become comfortable, which is our own nature. Thereby atma is ananda swarupa. There is no need to hanker after ananda elsewhere. That logic also proves it. So swaswarupan dridikuruvan means what? Swaswarupatvam dridikuruvan. How can you make your nature firm? In your buddhi, whatever you think yourself as, this body mind sense complex with all its attributes, with ahankara mamakara, all that has become dridha. Removal of that and holding on to the vritti as what is the swarupa of atma, that is the dridikuruvan here, swaswarupatvam or atmatvam dridikuruvan. Wherefore he clarifies that nischinvan, ascertaining your own swarupa in the buddhi, bringing back this idea as to what I have misunderstood all my life should be dropped, and what is the real nature should be inquired into and held on to. Thereby it will become dridha. So ahamadishu santyajan, what santyajan? Samyak tyajan, giving up atmatvam. So that atmatvam santyajan. Atmatvam has an anurti there in between ahamadishu and santyajan. Giving up atma bhava unto ahankara ityadi, unto all the koshas. Teshu ahamadishu kadachit pratiteshu, they appear once in a while. Why once in a while? They are not continuous. This ahankara ityadi, all these koshas do not remain in swapna. There is a different ahankara, or there is a different manaha, there is a different set of sense organs, there is a different sharira in swapna. Because you think that there is this sharira of mine and I have these emotions, but those emotions, the sharira, the intellect, if you are consider yourself as an intellectual here, in swapna you may not be an intellectual. Thereby all of these are replaced in swapna. They do not have continuity across states, and in deep sleep both of these swapna sharira and the jagrat sharira are gone. Thereby kadachit pratiteshu, in the states they are seen, in the waking state they are known. Even in the waking state, if you start daydreaming, then you are not in the pata, you are not in the class, you don't know what is going on, you don't know your surroundings, because you are there. So kadachit pratiteshu api ghatapatadivat ghatapatadishu iva. What is that ghatapatadivat ghatapatadishu iva teshu udasinataya? Like you have you don't have atma bhava with ghatapata, similarly teshu ahamadishu atma bhava should be dropped, meaning ahanta shunyataya tishtet. One should remain without having ahanta, meaning ahankara. Aham bhava should not be there with the ahankara and other koshas, just like we don't have it with the objects that we see, ghatapata ityadi. So now, having taught this indifference to the sharira, further Bhagavan Vyakyanakara says vacham niyachya atmani ityatra uktam tanchapi purnatmani iti sputam pratipadeti vishuddhamiti. What was said earlier in a few shlokas back, it was said vacham niyachya atmani niyachya. This vak, all these indriyas should be withdrawn unto oneself, and even that should be withdrawn. You know, the atmani, their atma could be seen as antakarana. Having withdrawn the speech and other sense organs which are focused outwards, having withdrawn them from their respective objects, resolve them in your antakarana, and having resolved them in your antakarana, resolve that antakarana into purnatma, which is your own swarupa. It is putam pratipadeti. What has also been said there is clarified further here in this shloka. Vishuddhamantakkaranam swarupe nivesh sakshinyavabodhamatre shanai shanair nischalatam upanayan purnattvameva anuvilokayet tataha. Vilokayet tataha. So in one, there is a typo somewhere, that nischalatam upanayam, it should not be makara, it should be nakara there. Somewhere in the tika there is a typo. So in one pata there is a typo, so it should not be upanayam, it should be upanayan. So vishuddham antakaranam swarupe niveshya. Antakarana, vishuddha antakarana, swarupa is our own self, the atma, paramatma, niveshya. Having resolved, having focused and resolved the antakarana all in withdrawn and then resolved in the Atma. Sakshini avabodha matre shuddha jnana swarupa. Bhagavan Bhashyakara says in Taittiriya Upanishad, this Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, that Jnanam is Jnaptihi. Jnapti means Bhave Vyutpatti. It is Bhave Vyutpatti, it is not any of the Karakas. So Jnana being Lyudanta, Lyut Pratyanta, it can mean anything other than a Karta. Akartaricha Karake Sanyayam, says the Sutrakara there, Vyakarana. So Jnana can mean any Karaka except for Kartru Karaka. So it can mean Karma, Jnana can mean Karma, meaning an object of knowledge. It can mean Karna, meaning the means of knowledge, and so on. All the other possibilities are there. Vyakarana possibilities. So what is this Jnana? Inquires the Purvapakshi. What is this Jnana? When you say Jnanam Brahma, what is that Jnana? Jnana is Jnapti. Jnapti, through Tin Pratyaya, Bhave Vyutpatti has been explained. Lut can be used for Bhave and Tin can also be used for Bhave Vyutpatti. So Bhave Vyutpatti means what? It is Shuddha Dhatu, which is Jna Dhatu. So it is the meaning, knowing. That is the meaning there, knowing, to know. So Shuddha Dhatu Artha. However, the Purvapakshi is to know. When you say to know, even if it is Shuddha Dhatu Artha, it is a Sakarmaka Dhatu. I can ask to know what. So there is a Karma Apeksha. As soon as you bring a Karma Apeksha, that Brahma is dependent on something, even if it is not a Karaka, still that Jna Swarupa will have expectation of Karma. There is a dependency on something. But here, this Jnaptihi, Bhave Vyutpatti, even if it is a Dhatu, it is not the Sakarmaka Dhatu, it is an indicator to the Lakshya Brahma. Even that Jnaptihi, Bhave Vyutpatti cannot explain, it can only take you close to the meaning, but then finally you have to drop that also, and that Shuddha Jnana, knowledge, the Dhatu Rupa knowledge also to be taken to its implied meaning, which is consciousness. In Vedanta, Jnana is also consciousness. So here what I said, Avabodha Matra is exactly that Shuddha Jnana Sarupa without any dependency on karma, meaning consciousness itself is the meaning there. So Sakshini Avabodha Matra, that Sakshi who is a witness only as long as there is something to be witnessed. He is the witness of subject and object. Initially we take ourselves as an object. We say, oh, I know myself very well, I am this person. So you are treating yourself as an object, one Karaka. Then you withdraw from that and you inquire into it, that whatever is objectified is not me. Through Dridrishya Viveka we know that I cannot be an object, I am a subject. But are you really a subject? So the Shastras say that you are not a subject. You are neither the object nor the subject. You are the Sakshi, you are the witness. So you are the witness of what? You are a witness of object as well as subject. Then of the triad also, of the Kriya, all the Karakas, you are Shuddha Sakshi. But then once everything is resolved into yourself, this Vishuddham Antakaranam, the pure Antakarana, through the sadhana it has become pure, through Karma Yoga it has become pure, then this Antakarana can be resolved. Otherwise it cannot be resolved. It will keep on jumping outward and it cannot be resolved. Further, forget resolution, it cannot even be held steady. There will be no this dharana also, let alone dhyana or samadhi. There cannot be a taila dharavat flow of vrittis, because this ashuddha Antakarana will keep on jumping like a monkey mind. Once it is brought under control, the way it is domesticated or tamed, then it will listen to you. Whenever you want, it will come back to what you want it to do, what the buddhi directs it to do, and thereby the Antakarana will be controlled. Sense organs can be resolved into that Antakarana, in that Vishuddha Antakarana, and that Vishuddha Antakarana can be resolved in yourself, in the Sakshi of that Antakarana, which brings in the vrittis of all Karakas, including the Karta, Ahankara. in that avabodha matre sakshini swarupe paramatmani vishuddham antakaranam niveshya, having resolved, further what should one do? Shanai shanaihi nischalatam upanayan, then continuously, slowly and steadily, slowly making oneself steady rather. So nischalatam upanayan means making oneself steady, not as a posture of the sharira, but the vritti should become steady, tailadharavat, and then steady without any effort. It should just remain there in the akhandakara vritti. The mind should not go away from that akhandakara vritti, and thereby purnatvam eva anuvilokayet. Tataha, thereby purnatvam eva anuvilokayet. One should attain this purnatva bhava, attainment being figurative again. Purnatvam eva anuvilokayet. Following that, remain in the Brahma Swarupa Atma, which is Purna Atma. That is the idea in the 384th shloka. Bhagavan Vyakyanakara says Vishuddham. What is Vishuddha? Antakarana being Vishuddha meaning what? Tamo Rajo Heenam. Sattva Pradhana. Sattva will be there. Tamas and Rajas will go away. We have seen earlier the prakriya is tamas should be gotten over using Rajas. You cannot just lie down through the day. So you wake yourself up, and how do you do it? By planning some activity. You plan and then encourage the sleepy mind to wake up. Just like a mother wakes up a child. Child does not want to, I want to sleep more, I want to sleep more. Then something else, I'll make some, particular food that you like, or I've already made it. So you get up, go to school. So suddenly, or these days game, you let the child play the game. Child does not want to sleep anymore. So tempt the mind with something and then bring it out of this tamas, laziness. Child would jump. Similarly, the mind will jump, and once it has jumped, then it will go into all sorts of planning for the day. It will take you outward completely. Therefore, sattva has to be cultivated. Once you come out of tamas and rajas takes over, then that rajas should be guided by dharma, and then through sattva it should be guided. Thereby, tamo rajo heenam vishuddham antakaranam avabodha matre anupuhite sakshini swarupe sakshito upalakshite niveshya. Sakshi is an upalakshana. What is that really? The sakshi. Sakshi is chitswarupa. That chitswarupa, satswarupa, ananda swarupa, ananta swarupa, atma, paramatma is the sakshi really. Meant to be sakshi as long as there is saksham, but otherwise sakshi, sakshitva upalakshite. Unto that paramatma, atma, samstapya, nivesha means samstapya, placing it there, resolving it there, which is never segmented. That atma, avabodha matra chit swarupa, unto that this antakarana should be resolved, and having resolved, nischalatam upanayan, meaning tatreva stito yatnam kuruvan. Upanayam means there is effort involved. To withdraw and direct the mind in the Atma Tattva, effort is involved. It will become effortless over time because it's your Swarupa. The effortlessness is actually not the mind learning that it need not go out for Ananda. That is the real struggle. So far as the mind is interested in Bahya Vastu, till the Mithyatva Nischaya is not complete, it is not well ascertained, till we don't know that there is no Sukha in outward pursuit, there is no Vishaya Sukha at all, it is all my own manifestation and I need not tap it outside. That tapping it outside, hunting it outside itself is causing dukkha. Unless that doesn't become very clear, this effort is needed to not only withdraw but to redirect it towards your own Swarupa, so that the mind gets the taste of this Atma, this Ananda Rupa Atma. Of course, you are not objectifying it, but what will happen is that once there is some Shuddhi Sattva in the Antakarana, as and when that sattva comes up, and as and when the vairagya is strong, we withdraw, then the swarupa will reflect clearly in the antakarana. Just as the way you experience an object, and that time there is no craving for that object because you have already got that object, then the craving resolves, and that is the purity at that moment where the Atma Swarupa reflects in the Antakarana clearly, which we mistake as that Ananda belonging to the Vishaya. But really the Ananda is Swarupa Ananda, reflecting when the craving resolved, because you have got the object. That getting the object becomes the hetu for resolving the desire, the kama for that object, Vishaya. Once the Vishaya kama is resolved, then there is nothing which is stopping this Ananda, Swarupa Ananda to reflect and manifest in the Antakarana. Similarly here, when there is no other outward activity, there is no craving, and thereby Shuddhi is there, Vishuddhi is there, that Vishuddha Antakarana now will have the reflection of Ananda, Swarupa Ananda, and that will train the mind to not hanker after Sukha outward. There is no Vishaya Sukha. It was, all the while it was my own Swarupa Sukha. So Shanai Shanaihi Nischalatam Upanaya means Tatraiva Stitau Yatnam Kurvan. To remain there, one has to make an effort initially, and that effort should be continuous as long as the mind is not completely withdrawn by itself, effortlessly. Tataha Purnatvam eva anuvilokayet. Thereby, this attainment of Purnatvam will become complete. That's the bhavartha there. Darpana, so example is the same. Darpanapanaye Pratibimbam mukham iva sarvasu vrittishu niruddhasu chidabhasa api bimba bhutam brahmaiva bhavati iti bhavaha. So he goes further and says, once that mirror which is reflecting your face, you take away the mirror, where has the reflection gone? The reflection which was projected by the light, which was the reflected light from your own mukha, is as though it is withdrawn back to yourself. Once you take away the mirror, darpana, then the pratibimba has become one with the bimba. It was never separate, it appeared separate, but that pratibimba is your own reflection. So where will it go? It was mithya. What remains is you. So as though that pratibimba has become one with the bimba, similarly the sarvasu vrittishu niruddhasu, once all the vrittis are resolved, antakarana is resolved in yourself, all the vrittis also are resolved. So chitta vritti nirodhe sati, what will happen is that chidabhasa api bimba bhutam brahmaiva bhavati or tishtati ityartha iti bhavaha. That chidabhasa, the individuality which is the reflected consciousness, will become one with the original consciousness, which is your own Swarupa. You are never segmented, you were never segmented. That individuality is mithya, thereby bimba bhutam brahma eva bhavati iti bhavaha. This is what is called as brahmavit brahma eva bhavati. Once you know that what is your Swarupa is, brahmavit, or the Shruti which is available now is brahmaveda brahma eva bhavati. One who knows Brahma by resolving the antakarana in oneself remains as Brahma. एवं अखंडाकार वृत्त्या भंजिते सति अज्ञानावरणे. So this satya jnanavarane sati ajnanavarane sati bhanjite sati ajnanavarane bhanjite sati. Once this ajnana avarana is destroyed, then how is it destroyed then? Akhandakara vrittya, through the akhandakara vritti. When it is the ajnana avarana is destroyed, avidya is destroyed, then tatkruta vikshepaha dura nirastaya bhavanti. The avarana shakti and Vikshepa Shakti you have seen, avidya or maya, has this twofold Shaktis. Once the avarana is gone, you know your Sarupa, avidya is destroyed, that avarana part is destroyed, then Vikshepa will have no influence over you. You already know it. So therefore, Tatkrita Vikshepaha Dura Nirastayo Bhamanti. They will also as though become annulled. Iti Bhavena. With this idea in mind, Bhagavan, Bhashyakara or Bhagavad Padacharya says, narrates the next shloka, creates the next shloka, Swajnana Kluptairiti. So the Swajnana Kluptair is the introduction here, however that is the second pada of the shloka. I'm sorry. Just give me a moment. Elsewhere also it is like that, yeah. Dehendriya instead of Swajnana Kluptaihi. Okay. So the shloka goes as Dehendriya Prana Manohamadivihi Swajnana Kluptair Akhalir Upadivihi Vimuktamatmanam Akhanda Rupam Purnam Mahakasham Ivavalokayet. Spashtamanyat. He says everything is clear here. Example which has been used over and over across Shastras. Dehendriya Prana Mano Manaha Ahamadivihi. So Deha, Indriya, Prana, Mana and Ahankara. All these are the five koshas, and Ahankara can be taken there as Vijnanamaya kosha, but Indriyas are part of one kosha there. So kosha viveka is taught here. It is upalakshana. Anything which can be objectified can be included here. Dehendriya Prana Mano Ahamadi Manohamadivihi. What is that? Swajnana Kluptaihi. These are created due to one's own ajnana. Dehendriya, Prana, Manaha, Ahankara, all these are what? These are all Vikshepas of the same Atma Tattva, which is misunderstood, which is veiled and misunderstood. Through Avarana and Vikshepa it is considered as something which is separate, and then we associate with part of it, and then we have Ahankara, Mamakara, and then individuality, and we see the world as separate from oneself after that. Akhilaihi Upadivi. What are these? These are all the upadis should be given up. You should disassociate from all the upadis. Akhilaihi Upadivihi Vimuktam Atmanam Akhanda Rupam. That Atma, oneself, which is separated out. Vimuktam, which is freed from all these upadis, and thereby Akhanda Rupam. There is nothing to individualize and create a Karta Bhokta Atma anymore, because you have withdrawn from those upadis, all those upadis which create that segmentation in the Purna Sarupa Atma, bring about an individuality, Kartrutva Bhoktrutva Bhava, thereby Kriya, Ragadvesha, Karma, Karma Phala. So Kama, Karma, Karma Phala, again avidya continues, and then another Janma, yet another Janma. All that is dropped off by withdrawing this. The Atmatva Bhava is taken away unto these Deha Ityadi, all these Upadis. So Vimuktam Atmanam Akhanda Rupam Purnam Mahakasham Iva Avalokayet. How should you understand this Atma which is withdrawn from this set of Upadis? When the Tadatmya Sambandha is removed, what you remain is Shuddha Atma. And how do you understand it? How do you analyze it? The way Mahakasha remains as Mahakasha even when it was segmented through Upadis of all these Ghatas. The pot space was never different from the total space. The total space is just a name. Pot space is another name. There is no meaning to it further than Vyavahara. But once all these upadis are broken in the example, the pots are broken or taken away, the pot space becomes one with the total space, meaning it was never different. This is what we know. Therefore, Purnam, you are always Purna, even when the Upadis gave you the idea that you are an individual, still even then you are Purna. This is how you understand Mahakasham iva avalokayet. Tatra chaturtha padartham upapadayan darshtantikam upapadayati. The chaturtha pada is the darshtantika. Mahakasham iva, like the example of the total space, you understand your Purnatva in the exemplified. So Bhagavad Padacharya clarifies this exemplified. What is it? Through the example which was used as Mahakasha. What Mahakasha? The Ghatakasha versus Mahakasha is the example, and that he clarifies in 386 shloka. Ghatakalasa kusula suchi mukhyaihi gaganam upadishatair vimuktam ekam bhavati navividham tathaiva shuddham paramahamadi vimuktam ekameva. These are different, little different set of letters there compared to the earlier. So there is a difficulty to fit it in a tune for me. So I just kind of read it with some tunes. Ghata kalasha kusula suchi mukhyaihi gaganam upadishataihi vimuktam ekam. This gaganam means akasha, which is vimukta, freed from what? Freed from ghata, means ghata akasha, ghata gagana or ghata akasha, kalasha akasha, kusula akasha, suchi akasha, mukhya akasha. When it is freed from all these upadis with name and form. Upadi is name and form. Jagat is all name and form. It does not have its own satta, spurana or sukha. All of it comes from Atma, Paramatma. But Nama and Rupa, it is its own, whereby there is division. Without Nama Rupa you cannot have division. So the example, I was just using it earlier in some other patha. So Nama, when is Nama used? You look, an example to drive home the point is, you see the Siamese twins. When the twins are exactly alike, how do parents differentiate? By giving a name. Name is definitely not the same. So one is Sita, the other is Gita, one is Ram, other is Sham. So the movie names. And by name, you separate out, you differentiate that which cannot be differentiated. And what is Rupa? Through Rupa, how is the differentiation? The same person, there is one Rama, there is another Rama. There are two Ramas, like Rama and Balrama. Balrama is also called as Rama, Rama. So Rama is, one is Rama, the other is Balrama. How do we differentiate between the two? By Rupa, because this Rama does not have the same form as another Rama. So form Rupa differentiates when the name is same, and name differentiates when Rupa is same. And here in Jagat, everything is just one, but the appearance is different by Nama and Rupa. The same Brahma, you tag it with name and form, with some appearance and some names, it will become segmented as though. Thereby individuals are created just by name and form. Nama Rupa is Mithya. Chandogya Upanishad says Nama Rupa is Mithya. So here forms, these upadis are mentioned. Ghata is one name, Ghata has a form. Kalasha is one name, Kalasha has a form. Kusula is a huge container. And Suchi is what? Just like a needle space, you know. There's a needle, very difficult to put the thread through that needle hole. That kind of a needle hole. But the space across all of these, and Mukhya as in total space, is all same. The pot space, Kalasha space, Kusula space, Suchi space is all one space. Mahakasha is also one with all this. There is no segmentation. Just the name and form have segmented by becoming Upadi, and segmentation is as though. Even as and when the Upadi exists, there is no segmentation. Real segmentation was never there. So the Gagana, when it is free from this Upadi Shataihi, hundreds of Upadis are there, hundreds of Ghatas, Kalashas are there. When this space is freed from that, freed from those Upadis, Vimuktam Ekameva Tishtati. It remains only one. And that remaining one or becoming one is figurative. It was always one. That wherever the pot Upadi was there, Ghata Upadi, Kalasha Upadi, Kusula Upadi, Suchi Upadi, Mukhya Upadi, whenever the Upadi was there, there itself this Akasha was also there. Thereby Vividam na bhavati, Ekam bhavati, Vividam na bhavati, it does not become manifold the way we misunderstood it as manifold earlier when Upadi was there. Tathaiva, similarly, the Shuddha Paramahamadi Vimuktam Ekameva, the Shuddha Atma, when it is freed from this Upadis, Param Aham, so Paramatma is one Upadi, Aham is one Upadi, Paramatma is also an Upadi. Ishvara is one name given to a particular form or even a Karana, Jagat Karana. Thereby he is separated out as the universal, the Lord, overlord. But overlordship, Karanatvam, all this is Upadi. Similarly, Ahanta, Ahankara is an Upadi, individuality. Thereby Paramahamadi Vimuktam Ekameva Shuddham. That Shuddha Vividam na bhavati. The Shuddha Parabrahma, Nirguna Brahma never becomes many. Ekameva Tishtati. When you free it from the Upadis, you know that even when the Upadis were there, there was no segmentation, there was no division between Paramatma and Atma, and this Prapancha was also just a mere appearance of that same Paramatma, which is me, Brahmatma. Kusulaha yatra dhanya rashihi sambhriyate saha mahaparimanaha. So great measure, where a great measure of dhanya rashi can be stored, that kind of a container, or with a, basically you have to think of a big space, wherever there is a large space to store a huge stock of these grains, groceries. So Suchihi Atyalpa Chidra. In contrast, Suchi is like the needle space. Alpaihi Mahadvischa Ghata Kalasha Kusula Suchi Mukhyaihi. Mukhya. What is Mukhya there? Mukhya Padena Pashakupadi Parigraha. So you can take the like a noose space, the kind of space that you bring out with a noose, or Kupadi with a well, etc., pond. All these can be, any space can be added. It is all Upalakshana. With Mukhya you can add anything. Upadi Shatehi Sutyakashaha Pashakashaha Ityadi Bhinna Bhinna Vyavahara Prayojakaihi. All these divisions with Nama and Rupa are made. Upadi Bheda is created only for transaction. It does not have anything beyond the Vyavaharika Satta. It is only for Vyavahara, not real. Bhinna Bhinna Vyavahara Prayojakaihi Parasahasra Upadivihi. So Parasahasra Upadivihi, there are so many thousands of Upadis created only for Vyavahara, Nama Rupa, but nothing more than that. Vimuktam Gaganam, this space Akashaha, when it is freed from all these Upadis, Ekam Bhavati, we say this space is mine, don't invade my space. All this is okay for Vyavahara. Really that space cannot be divided. We cannot even say my space, really. Ekam Bhavati, Mahakasha iti Vyavahriyate na tu vastutah vividam aneka prakaram bhavati. There is only a Vyavahara as Mahakasha, Ghatakasha, Kalashakasha, small space, large space, but space is but one. Never is it different, never is it differentiated. Tathaiva Shuddham Param Brahma, that Param Brahma is Shuddha Brahma. Ahamadi Muktam Ekameva. When it is freed from all Upadis, it remains one. So Bhagatyaga Lakshana also teaches the same thing. Darstantike Mrishatvat cha Upadinam Sulabham Ekatva Jnanam Ityaha Brahmeti. In the exemplified, Mrishatvat, due to mithya. Mrisha is mithya, another word mithya. Upadinam mithyatvat, that's the meaning there. Upadinam mrishatvacha, because upadis are mithya even in the exemplified. Sulabham ekatva jnanam. Once you understand this example, then the exemplified is very easy to understand. Just like beyond the vyavahara you won't segment space, it is known as the same space which is never segmented. Similarly, Atma can never be segmented. Thereby the 387 shloka is introduced by saying ब्रह्माद्यास्तंभ पर्यंताः वृषा मात्रा उपादयः ततः पूर्णं स्वमात्मानं पश्येदेकात्मना स्थितम्. ब्रह्माद्याः स्तंभ पर्यंताः, starting from चतुर्मुख ब्रह्म, Lord Brahma, स्तंभ पर्यंतः, till this small, blade of grass, or even a small jivi, small this thing, even the smallest, from the biggest to the smallest sentient being or insentient being, even mrisha matra, mithya, upadhaya, these upadhis are just mithya. Brahma is a name, stamba is a name, stamba has a rupa, Brahma has a rupa. Through nama and rupa it is as though segmented, but Satchidananda Vastu cannot be segmented, it is one. Tataha Purnam Swamatmanam. Swamatmanam is one's own self, and that own self is Raho Shiravat Shashti. It is not separate. One's own Swarupa means oneself. Swamatmanam Purnam Pashyed Ekatmana Sitam, remaining as free from these upadhis, understand oneself. Pashyed, Pashyati, one would see. See meaning it is not really seeing as an object, but one would clearly see. Do you see my point? Where you can't see the point. The point is subtle. You are making a subtle point, and you ask the person, have you understood it, by asking, do you see what I am saying? So you cannot see what is being said. So in transaction we use these phrases, they are not literal. Similarly, Paschet, or you should have Anubhava, you should you should treat it as a Vishaya, you should meditate upon your own self. All these are phrases, they are not literal. People mistake it to be literal, and then they hunt forever. Puja Swamiji used to say, they disown the moksha that they would kind of, almost there, and they disown it. Because you are hunting for something. It is your own Swarupa, you cannot hunt your Swarupa. So Sama Atmanam Pashyed means understand it clearly, the way we saw in the example I used. Ekatmana Sthitam, remaining Ekatmana as one, without becoming two, without giving an occasion to become two, without the vrittis segmenting and becoming one more and yet another, and thereby becoming a pluralistic world in front of you. Brahma Samashti Linga Sharira Abhimani. I'll just finish this in a minute. Brahma Samashti Linga Sharira Abhimani. Who is Brahma? Chaturmukha Brahma, who has Abhimana, identification with this entire Linga Sharira. Basically Chaturmukha Brahma, or what is seen as Hiranyagarbha, who has the upadhi of the total universal. Chaturdasha Bhuvanadipatihi, who lords over the 14 worlds. Sa Adyaha Yesham Upadinam Te Brahmadyaha, that is the Bahuvri Samasa there. And Stambha is what? Anutamaha Jantuhu, some creature which is a small, you need a microscope to see. That kind of a smallest Jantu is called, creature is called as Stambha. Saha Paryantaha Avadhihi, Yesham Te Stambha Paryantaha Upadaya. Again another Bahuri to say that up to the minutest creature, starting from the largest creature, all of these are what? Upadhis. So Upadayaha Bhedaka Dehaha. And what are adjuncts or Upadhis? They are Bhedaka Deha. They are bodies which differentiate one from the other. Mrisham, Mrisha is what? Mrisha Matra Mrisha, Mrisha Asirvadisthane Brahmani Kalpitaha. They are imagined. Mithya meaning they are imagined. In Brahma they are imagined, as though there are segmentation, there are individuals. na vastubhutaha, they are not real. And what is mrsha really or mithya? One definition in Advaita Siddhi for mithya is what? Bada yogya. Bada yogyatvam mithyatvam. What is bada yogyatvam? Bada yogyaha ityartha. Which can be negated, which can be sublated. If you see sarpa, sarpa never remains a sarpa forever. As soon as the knowledge occurs that, or as soon as the light is shown and there is knowledge that it is nothing but rope which appeared, then the sarpa has been negated, sublated by rope. The rope knowledge sublates the snake knowledge. The silver knowledge is sublated by the shell knowledge. And in Vyavahara, the shell knowledge or the rope knowledge is not sublated. Not sublated until the Brahmajnana is not there. But once Brahmajnana is there, the rope is also negated as nothing but Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. None of these really exists. Satta and Spurti is borrowed. It is nothing but Brahma itself. Therefore, Bhada Yogya, which can be negated, and Sad Brahma cannot be negated. So the only thing which cannot be negated, only Vastu which cannot be negated, is one who negates. The negator of all or everything cannot himself be negated. So you can never land in Shunyatvam. Everything but me is mithya. That is the definition of this mrishatvam. Bada yogya ityartha. Tataha vimrishyamane. Vimrishyamane is when vimarsha is done. Vimarsha is viveka, when vichara is done. Vicharam na sahate. None of these stand scrutiny. Once you scrutinize, they fall apart like the castle in the air. So vimrishyamane tesham apratiyamanatvat ekatmana kalparnavat sthitam purnam kalpa. So it's just an imagination. This castle in the air will not stand any scrutiny. If you rejoice a daydream and you say that, okay, I was living in the castle, once you analyze it, it like dream, it shatters. Therefore, kalparnavat sthitam purnam trivida pariccheda shunyam swamatmanam swamukhya swarupam brahma pashyet sakshat kuryat. Pashyet means sakshat kuryat. Have sakshatkara, know it immediately. Don't use any tools beyond the resolution. They are used for resolution through neti prakriya. And trivida paricheda shunyam, there is no kala paricheda, there is no desha paricheda, there is no vastu paricheda. You are never limited by anything. That swamatmanam brahma pashyet swamukhya swarupam, one's own real swarupa, one should have sakshatkara of that. This is the 387 shloka. We'll see the next in the next part. सर्व वेदांत सिद्धांत गोचरंतम गोचरम गोविंदम परमानंदम सद्गुरुं प्रणतोस्म्यहम्. Any questions? Okay, no questions. I'll see you in the next part then. Namaste.